Here's what I think most people get wrong about eBay promoted listings. Because every time this topic comes up, it's like everyone fits into one of two camps. You should promote everything, or promoted listings is a scam. But I think both sides are looking at this issue the wrong way and not asking the right questions. I'm gonna explain what those questions are, and by the end of this video, you will be able to make more informed decisions about your eBay promoted listing strategy, including when, where, and why to promote. Because once I started asking myself these questions, I started looking at my inventory in a completely new way. And I decided to completely change my eBay promoted listing strategy. Hi, I'm Cosmic Heather. I've been an eBay seller for over 20 years, and we need to talk about promoted listings. Roll the intro. So if we go back to my initial idea of there being two different camps about promoted listings, I was firmly in camp one for a long time, which was just promote everything. I would promote at the lowest percent only, which for a long time was 1%. And then eBay decided, you know what? We could make twice the amount of money if we just increase that percentage from 1% to 2%, so nobody can promote lower than 2%. Despite the doubling, I didn't reevaluate my promoted listing strategy at the time and just decided to keep going with it, because the advantage of that strategy is you don't have to think about it. You just promote everything, right? Set it and forget it. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know I'm very data driven and I collect a lot of data about my eBay business. And I could reliably predict that about 50% of my eBay listings would sell with that promoted fee, despite promoting 100% of my items. And from that 50%, it would add up to about 1% of my gross sales total. And to me, a 1% marketing budget was a completely acceptable business expense. I'm from the marketing world and 1% is pretty cheap. But then, as everyone knows, at the beginning of this year, eBay changed their promoted listings rules. They changed the way promotion was attributed to cast a wider net of listings that would sell with that promoted listings fee, meaning more items would now sell with that promoted listings fee attached to it. I saw my 50% average jump to almost 90%. That was the breaking point for me. I decided I needed to completely reevaluate my eBay promoted listing strategy. And the question everybody tends to ask themselves is, do I need to promote my listings at all to be competitive? And I think that's where most sellers are being tripped up. The question is not necessarily, do I promote my listings? It's actually, what visibility problems am I trying to solve? Because after all, promotion is a visibility tool. Different items have different visibility challenges, and that's going to change whether or not you promote them. So what do I actually mean by visibility challenges? Let's dive into the questions and some real life examples. So promotions as a tool for visibility means that you kind of need to remove your thoughts and feelings from the process and put yourself in the thought process of a buyer. How is that buyer going to connect with your item? Like a big game of Plinko, just zigzagging around until they randomly end up in your listing and buy it? What if we could game it so that our slot took up a little bit more room? I have 4 questions you can ask yourself to determine the best course of action to do that. Number 1, how specific is your buyer? Most eBay customers can be put into one of 2 categories. Customer type number 1 doesn't exactly know what they're coming to eBay to buy. They're just browsing with no specific item in mind, maybe a few search terms, and just want to see what's in the market right now. Customer type number 2 is a specific item buyer. They're coming to eBay to buy one specific product and one product only. Sometimes it can be hard to tell which one is worth targeting with your specific item, and that's going to depend on the item itself. For example, let's use this hair dye that I currently have listed. I got a few boxes cheap on clearance. They're going to sell and be profitable at the going rate on eBay right now. I just have to connect this item to a buyer. Now, is this hair dye more likely to sell to customer type 1, somebody that's just generally searching through brown hair dyes? Or is this more likely to sell to customer type 2 who is looking specifically for Garnier Olia shade 4.60? This hair dye has a searchable brand, it has a specific color code, it has a specific UPC, it has very specific identifiers. In my opinion, this is more likely to sell to customer type 2, somebody who's looking specifically for this box and no other boxes. And I think that's probably going to be true of most hair dyes in general. But what about items that are less specific than this? They don't have any brand, they don't have any personal identifiers or anything. Take this Grandma Core kitchen sign I just found as a good example of that. There's no brand, there's no date, there's no nothing on this that ties it to a specific search term. And actually, I reverse image searched this and it doesn't appear to exist anywhere online other than my current eBay listing. So no one can search for this specifically because there's nothing specific about it. It's no Garnier Garnier Olia shade 4.60. This is 100% a vibes-based product, and this is most likely to sell to customer type 1, somebody that's just coming to eBay to search for grandma core or cottage core home decor. And I know what you're thinking. You want to immediately draw the conclusion, oh, she means we're gonna not promote this item, but we are gonna promote this item. Hold your horses. We still have a few more questions to ask. Because so far we've only talked about buyer intent. But even products like this that people search for specifically can suffer from visibility problems if there's too much competition in the eBay search results. Which brings us to question 2. How much competition am I facing? If we're talking about this specific hair dye again, this one actually only has 5 other sellers selling it right now. I would consider that to be like pretty low competition. But what about this Rise Mushroom Coffee? This is also a highly specific product that people are searching for exactly by the name Rise Coffee, and they're not going to accept anything that's not Rise Coffee. So it's still going to attract customer type number 2 that's looking specifically for this item. But whereas our hair dye only had 5 other listings to compete with, this has like 125. I would consider that to be like mid to high level competition. And not only that, but there's some people selling 1 pack, 2 packs, 3 packs, 4 packs. If you're a specific buyer coming to find this product on eBay, there's going to be a lot of noise. That makes it hard for buyers to find the best deal and easily home in on one exact listing. And the situation is even more dire for our grandma core sign, because when I searched grandma core, it said there were 7,600 plus listings. I would say that's extremely high competition for such a general search term. So you would promote the sign and the Rise Coffee, but not the hair dye, right? We can't make that determination yet. Let's go to question number 3. Question number 3, what are my business goals right now? This is where we put our brain back in our head and stop thinking like a customer and start thinking about our needs. What am I trying to accomplish right now? Make money, obviously, but what reseller is trying to lose money? But am I trying to maximize cash flow? Am I going to try and maximize margin? Do I want to move inventory quickly? Am I absolutely at capacity and need to free up storage space? If your goal is to maximize profit, maybe no matter what, you're just going to promote less. You're fine waiting a little longer and accepting slower sales in order to make a bigger piece of the pie, because maybe storage space and cash flow are absolutely no issue to you. Maybe you realized you're out of space and you need to start getting this stuff out fast, even if it means making a little bit less money. So maybe you promote more in order to get your item in front of more eyes and more chances for someone to buy it. These sort of things can and should factor into your decision making towards promoted listings. Now, before we start throwing promotion at every visibility challenge, we do need to consider one more thing. Question number 4. What other strategies can I use? Because promotion's not the only tool in your basket to fix visibility issues. You could potentially aim to be the lowest price on something so that if somebody searches from low to high, your item's automatically gonna filter to the top. Obviously, this doesn't work as well for customer type 1 issues where you don't really know exactly what they're searching to find you, nor does it work if you have the business goal of maximizing your profits, or if you can't afford to compete on price because of your buy costs. But if it's an option, it's a valid strategy. You could also opt for free shipping or adding volume discounts if you have multiples of an item. Those things do kind of give an unpaid boost to your eBay listings in the algorithm. Again, those may or may not work for you based on your specific goals and business decisions. But if we're talking about visibility, I feel like I have to mention them because they are acknowledged to help. Okay, those 4 questions, it sounds like a lot. I know, but it's really not. Let's put it all together. We're considering how specific the buyer is. We know how much competition we're facing. We've thought about our business goals and our other strategies at play. Here's how I personally apply all that framework while listing my items now. Specific item plus low competition equals low need to promote. Again, that's my hair dye with only 5 other sellers. Promotion's really not gonna matter that much because we're targeting a specific buyer who's looking for that specific item, and they can see all the listings in pretty much one shot. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 of 6 or 6 of 6. There's no real advantage to being number 1 or standing out in any specific way. I chose not to promote that item at all. If I do want velocity, maybe it's been sitting a long time, then I may reevaluate my business goals and think maybe I don't want anything that's been sitting around for a year. I'll start promoting then, and I'll try and punch out of that specific buyer pool into a bigger general one. Specific item plus high competition equals promotion may help. When you list an item on eBay, it does show you what % of people in a specific category have elected to promote. For example, on my Rise coffee listing, it says 59% of sellers have elected to promote in that category. It won't specifically tell you how many people selling that exact item have promoted. It's category wide only. But it does give me a little indicator that maybe I can leapfrog 40% of the competition just by promoting at the lowest rate. I chose to put mine in a lot of 2 together, which means I can no longer compete on price because the single bag sellers will get that slot. But remember, that product has a high amount of noise, and it makes it hard for buyers to find exactly what the best deal per bag is, and we can use that to our advantage. I did choose to promote that item, and I sold 2 lots to somebody within about a day of listing it. They absolutely could have found a better deal per bag, but maybe my item standing out with promotion plus free shipping was all they needed to say, hey, that's a good enough deal, I'll buy this one. Because that buyer probably didn't want to deal with all the noise. Discovery item plus low competition equals promotion might help. This is going to depend heavily on the specific item and the specific niche you're trying to reach and the specific price you want and all of that. Because while promotion can help my grandma core sign find a grandma core buyer, if you'll remember, my grandma core sign has about 7,600 other listings it's competing with under that specific keyword. That would be an example of high competition. A discoverability product with low competition would be something like a Frutiger Arrow product. Compared to Grandma Core's 7,600 plus listings, the keyword Frutiger Arrow only brings up about 160. And I know that seems like a lot, but somebody searching by that term is very likely to look at all 160 listings. For such an item like that, I would suggest holding off on promotion at first, maybe letting it go a few months, whatever your business goals are. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. And then maybe add promotion in as a tool if it hasn't moved yet. This is really where that question 3 comes into play, because with this kind of stuff, it's more about what your business goals are. Or maybe I know this specific item is going to be fairly cheap and found easily if somebody searches low to high, so I don't have to promote it. You really have a lot of room to play with these kind of items. And then discoverability items with high competition, promotion is highly suggested. I really do think my grandma core sign is going to need all the help in the world to find a pair of eyes to buy it. So I'm fine promoting it right from day one. I can't compete on price, I can't compete on volume discounts or anything like that. And there's really a limited amount of keywords that I think this will appeal to. And also, if we apply my question 3 to this, I like to move my larger items faster, so that also plays into my decision to promote it. Now, before you go changing all your eBay promoted listing settings, I have a few pitfalls to warn you about first. If we think about that grandma core sign, your items that kind of need a lot of promotion to get eyes and get seen by a general audience, promotion is not going to do anything for you if you don't have the right keywords in place. Promotion can only boost what's already there. So really think hard about that specific buyer that's going to connect with your item and what they might be searching to find it. If your photos are bad, if your shipping price is too high, if your item price is too high, it doesn't matter how many eyes are on it, they're probably not going to buy it. Visibility can only do so much to persuade someone to buy an item. While I do think you can afford to ask a little more if you promote your items, like I did with my Rise coffee, if you do it too much, you're unlikely to find a buyer. When eBay decided to change how their promoted listings were attributed earlier this year, and I saw my sales jump from 50% promoted sales to 90% promoted sales, I knew it was finally time to reevaluate the system I had been using for years. What I eventually realized is there's really not one specific answer that works for everyone. Different items have different visibility challenges. Different sellers have different goals. And promotion is just one tool for solving those problems. And I found that I personally didn't need to be promoting as many things as I thought in order to stay competitive. A lot of the stuff I sell as a discontinued specialist is the stuff that falls into that specific buyer low competition niche. The kind of stuff that was gonna find a buyer anyway, especially because I try and stay very competitive on my prices. That 2% really would have added up if I would have just kept doing it. It kind of makes you wonder if eBay doing this is gonna make them lose out on money because more people are gonna reevaluate that sort of lazy promote everything strategy. Because I know I'm not alone in reevaluating my promoted listing strategy, and now I hope you have the tools to reevaluate your eBay listings as well. What do you think about promoted listings? Are you still blanket promoting everything, or are you still camp promoted listings are a scam? If you have any thoughts on promoted listings or want to leave me a comment, definitely drop one below. I love to read them. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I put out at least one video a month all about my full-time reselling adventures and a whole bunch of shorts. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook if you want reselling stories, the kind of stuff I'm picking up in my travels. Follow me on TikTok if you want just general nonsense. I'm currently going viral over there for talking about Little Debbie tiger cakes. It's kind of my second life over there. I hope this video has given you the tools you need to reevaluate promoted listings in your reselling business. Now get out there, have fun, and find something good.